So in this video, I'm going to give you a basic lesson about async and await in JavaScript. But before we move to the complicated stuff, I want to talk about the regular functions. So we all know that if you want to make a function, you type in function followed by the name of the function. So for example, print hello. So this function will print hello to the user, and I'm going to open two curly braces. So right here, we don't have any elements stored. So inside of the HTML page, you see I have this, where is it? I have this div right here. It says ID output. So let's store that inside of a variable. So let my element equals to document.getElementById by ID, and open two parentheses. And this should make sense by now, because I have used this many times in JavaScript. So I'm gonna type in output. So output, and add a semicolon to the end of it. So now we have that element stored inside of the my element. Now we can simply change the inner HTML of that element to hello people, for example, hello people. Now, if I want to run this function, I'll have to call it. Without calling it, this will not work. So print hello. And as you notice on the page, it has printed that. And we can do something else. For example, I can say my elements dot inner HTML equals to another text. So this will add this one to it. But you see, this one overrides the first line. So now JavaScript is synchronous. It means that it's going to run line after line. But because this one, line 5, is after line 4, it overrides line 4. Therefore, you see another text instead of hello people. So if we want to see both of these, you can add a plus here, plus equal to this one, and I can add a space here. So you see it will print both of these. Now, if I want to print the first one for 5 seconds, let's say I wait 5 seconds and then I print this one. To do that, we can use something called set timeout. So set timeout, and you open two parentheses. So this method can be used to add a delay to a function. For example, let's say that another text, I want to add that after 5 seconds. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to cut that line, and inside of these parentheses, inside of the set timeout method, I can use a function. So function, you open two parentheses and two curly braces, and before I add any code inside of the curly braces, I'm going to add a comma here followed by 5,000. So this means that wait for 5 seconds and then print whatever is inside of these curly braces. So I'm going to paste it here. So you see it's gonna say another text after 5 seconds. And as you notice on the page, it has printed that after 5 seconds. So this is how you add a delay to a function. So you see, first it's going to say hello people, then after 5 seconds, it's going to say another text, all right? And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change this function to an arrow function. So this whole thing, will be the same whether you use this way of function or an arrow function, but in many cases you would see an arrow function inside of a set timeout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this code, and let me just cut line 6. I just want to reuse that later, so I'm going to get rid of that again. Now let's use the set timeout again. So set timeout, and inside of this, instead of making a function, and inside of these parentheses, to make a function, you add two more parentheses, equal sign, greater than sign, and these are our curly braces. And then, as I said, comma, followed by timeout or milliseconds. So if I type in 5,000, this means it will be printed after 5 seconds. If you change it to 10,000, it will be after 10 seconds, etc. Now, let's go here and put our code back in there. So you see after 5 seconds, it's gonna print that to the user. Now, let's say that there's some data that is coming in from a server or from an API. So if that data comes in, and if we use setTimeout, you know, and if we type in load data, for example, load data after 5 seconds, all right? So this will load data after 5 seconds. But what if the data is so huge that is coming in from an API and it takes more than 5,000? So instead of using setTimeout, we can use something called await. And await will basically wait for data to be loaded, and then it will print that data to the page or to the user. So now I'm going to get rid of this setTimeout, and I'm going to get rid of this whole thing actually. So I'm going to get rid of this, and we will make an asynchronous function. So in JavaScript, an async function is a special kind of function that always returns a promise. I know we don't know what a promise is yet. For example, if I say, I promise you that I will bring you a pizza, it means that I will either give you a pizza, or if I don't give you the pizza, I'll return your money. We will use async functions to work with promises. So let's take a look at an asynchronous function. So an asynchronous function just starts with the word async, and you type in function, all right? So async function space, and then you add the name of the function. So let's say print hello again, open 2 parentheses and 2 curly braces. Okay, now you might say, all right, well, it's similar. Yeah, it's exactly the same thing, but I'm just gonna use the word await here. So you use the word await to wait for data to be loaded, and then we do something with that data. So right here, we are going to make a variable. So I'm going to say let response, because we always wait for a response from an API, and equal sign equals to await. All right, so let response, and then we await something. So we are going to use the fetch method, and inside of the fetch method we can use an API URL. So we are going to add that URL there. So I have this API there ready, and now this data we need to convert it into a JavaScript object, because this data that comes in is a JSON file, and we need to convert that into JavaScript. Now we are going to say let data equals to, then await again. So response, we are going to convert response to JavaScript. And now finally we can do something. We can print this to the user. So let's change the element. So my elements.innerHTML equals to, and we can use the backticks. I can say the weight, so the weight of Charmander is, and then I'm going to use the $sign and the curly braces to inject that data. So I'm going to say data dot weight. So I have read the documentation of this API, but right here, if I call this function, so let me call this function, so print hello, you see that it's going to say the weight of Charmander is 85. So you see now we have injected this data from this API. So I hope that this video has given you a basic idea about how to use APIs. So I think I'm gonna end this video here, and I hope that this video was not too difficult.